Okay. Hello, so welcome to our video. This one's going to be about AUC. We've been getting a lot of questions about people who are joining and they just wanted to know what it was like living here and doing all our studies. So this is what this video is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of students are coming in, and especially I feel like the deadlines for the applications are not done.
Yeah.
So I think a lot more students will be interested in knowing what AUC is actually about and making their decisions soon, you know? So I think it's like a good time to make this video. So in this video, we'll just be answering some important questions and some questions that like students have asked us, telling you about what life at AUC is like during Corona. But yeah.
I think this year especially is like much more weird than other years. And so, because like we're both first years at the minute, so to us this is normal, but after you speak to the second and third years, like it completely changes later. So hopefully half of this stuff will be irrelevant when you come because Corona will be less of a thing, but depending how the government react, like who knows?
Yeah, we don't know, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, so the first question that we get asked a lot is, are the classes in person or online?
Do you want to take this one?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So right now all of our classes are online, every single one of them. So we're all just sitting in the dorms doing most of our classes online. Yeah. But before lockdown started, and I think soon they're planning on
like
going back to like hybrid, which is what we used to have in the first semester, where we had some classes online, some classes in person, or we had like one class where one class would be online and then the next class you'd go in person. So there was just like this hybrid, and it depended. Some people got like all their classes on campus. Yeah. Some people got like most of their classes online. So it really depends on the person.
And it depends on your lecturer as well, because like in the first semester, for instance, you like some of the professors, they haven't even come back because of COVID, and because a lot of them are very international. So like we had one of our teachers who was from like the US and she still hadn't come back yet. So we had that whole class online, whereas other people who took the same class but just had a different professor, they got all their classes in person. So it's pretty random how it works.
Exactly. But yeah, it really doesn't matter, honestly. And I mean, it is a bit more difficult for the classes since they are online. Yeah. But I think it's nice that we all live in the dorms anyways, so we can all still like work together, study together, attend classes together, and maybe hold each other accountable, which I think is much different from like being online but back home in your like family's home, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think then you're not with the people, you're not in the dorms, and I think that like makes a big difference.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you have the opportunity, like come straight away, because you don't want to, even though the classes are online and you think like you may as well just stay at home, you're still going to miss out on a lot if you don't come. So
yeah, especially the socializing and stuff, which we'll move on to in the next question.
Yeah, sure.
How do you guys socialize during lockdown?
So it is kind of weird at the minute because like there's certain restrictions, but for instance, with our friendship group, like we just plan to have like a dinner like once a week or something, and we just like we see each other and cook and whatever. There's also a really beautiful park called Flavor Park opposite us, and so I think it's pretty common for like someone in the day to be like, yo, does anyone want to go for a walk? And then you just go for a walk around the park when it's like a nice day like today. I don't know.
I think working out and stuff as well. We definitely like go out and go out together. So that's one way of socializing, just working out in the park or going to the workout park nearby. Another way is like parties, of course. So like there are parties that still happen, but we don't really attend them.
Yeah, not really. But I know that they do happen, but they tend to get shut down like fairly regularly. And so you have what's called a residence assistant, which is just someone who like patrols the building and is supposed to like upkeep of like the students and stuff. And so at night, like they'll go around the buildings and they'll like check for parties, and then if you're caught like attending a party, you'll get passed on to the university and they'll like give you a warning and stuff.
Yeah, and I think if you get like 2 or 3 warnings, you can actually get
suspended. Or
you can get suspended from school. So it's definitely very risky, and not just our race. Like there are times when like we've heard like the police has been called.
Yeah.
And
I mean that happened twice, I know.
So we don't really recommend that, but it happens. Another thing is, what's the most difficult thing about being an AUC student right now?
Right now, for me, it's definitely like the motivation, like going to class when your class is literally your laptop. And even though it like seems so much easier, like it's so much harder because like it's so easy to just wake up or like, be in bed and just not open up your laptop, as stupid as it sounds. So I think like me and Uzair, we have a lot of the same classes. So we literally just like try and like force each other to do them at the same time. But yeah, for me it's the motivation when it's online is it sucks a lot more. So
I also think it's definitely much harder to socialize So, I mean, the people last year, they had the intro week where they met new people,
Yeah.
and then there were parties and events every single day, you know? So they had a good time, like, making friends and stuff. But right now, with, like, most events being online, it's just not the same. And our intro week was also completely online, so we didn't really get to meet that many people.
Yeah, intro week's like the week that you have before you start university, and it's supposed to be where you, like, meet people, but, like we literally met no one because it was all online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely something that's like really difficult. Another thing is that AUC is kind of like a bubble, and we all tend to stick together, stay in the same dorm. So it's very easy for us to like not leave the dorms for a long time. Even though you're a social person, all the social activities and stuff will be happening in the dorm. So it's very easy to like not get out at all. And I think COVID has just made everything so much worse. And people tend to stick with their own groups. They don't really go out and meet new people as much, especially with like second years. I feel like there's a lot less intermingling of like years in general. So the first years tend to stick together, and then the second years have their own group, which wasn't the case last year.
Yeah, hopefully like when the lockdown restrictions stop and stuff, and like there are like actual parties and events and stuff, everyone can intermingle more, because the main way that you really like meet second and third years is if you have like a class with them. And so like I just say make sure you do attend your class and actually have your camera on, because then people know who you are, because like I didn't do that for the first semester, and like no one actually saw my face and knew who I was. And
okay, another question. What about events and committees? Are you a part of any?
No, so I'm not part of any of the committees. The committees are, I was confused what they meant when I got here, because like in the UK we call them like societies and clubs and stuff, but a committee is basically like a club where they organise events and like dancing or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're on tour.
Yeah, I'm on the student entrepreneurship community. So we just organize events where we invite companies and we invite alumni to give talks about what life after AUC is like. I'm also a member of Springboard, which isn't really a committee, but it's an event that we organize at AUC every year. It's a career event, and I'm a part of their acquisitions team. So our job is to make sure the companies attend the event, find speakers and sponsors for the event, and make sure everything runs smoothly.
Yeah, but I mean, how do you join the committees?
So I think for most committees, you do have an interview process. So you have to either write a letter or maybe have an interview with the board, and then they decide whether they'll take you or not. It's usually much easier to get into some committees than it is to get into others. For example, I know like some committees are like really competitive, but others are fairly easy to get into. So it all depends. But I don't think you should take that into consideration. Just apply for what you feel is good. And obviously with Corona and stuff, socializing is hard, but committees and events, most of them still tend to happen. The meetings tend to happen in person. So that's one way to socialize and make friends and find people who have similar interests to you.
Yeah, and speak to some of the older years, because like the committee chairs normally are like third years.
Yeah.
So you get to have like a wide range of people, and then you probably make friends with people in your committee.
What about Amsterdam as a whole, as a city during lockdown?
Yeah, I mean, so we came during the summer, and like the lockdown really wasn't that strict. And now things have changed, because at the minute we have a curfew, so everyone has to be in by 10 o'clock. During the winter, it did kind of suck, because you know Amsterdam, it gets quite cold, and so you want to be inside like a restaurant or cafe, a museum, like whatever. You want to do something inside, and then the whole of the winter that was closed. So we really haven't been into the city that much during the winter. But in the summer, it was lovely, and like there's so many public parks. The city's beautiful, like the canals, everything. The food's nice, like the places are nice, the people are nice.
Yeah.
But it kind of depends. Like lockdown during the summer is like much better than lockdown during the winter, definitely. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think lockdown during summer was much nicer than the lockdown that there is now. And I think we used to all go to cafes and see new places, but you can't really do that anymore. So most of us just, when we do see the city, it's us going to the park. A new park every single time, but that's really like very limited, you know, and that's not really seeing the city. But I
mean, things are supposed to open up from the start of May, and like cafes and stuff, and as soon as that opens, like Amsterdam is so amazing. It's just, while like we have like quite the stringent measures, it's like it's kind of hard, but as the vaccines actually come through, like it is a nice place. Like it's not just, you know.
Yeah, it is a very pretty city.
Like, it's still very enjoyable.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I think those were like the most important questions and the most common questions that people ask us. Right? But if you have any others, you can just like ask us in the comments and we'll reply maybe on our next video.
Yeah, I think maybe we'll do a part 2, and then so anyone who like writes a question in this video, we'll answer that next video. So
Okay,
that was helpful.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.